God of the universe, maker of the stars, who am I that you would know my name?
Welcome, everyone, to episode number 38 of Life on Purpose. And it is coming up on the 1-year anniversary of this program as we end up going to Revive together. Myself, Mr. David Covert, Ryan Cribbs, Daniel Clayton, and a number of other really special people are going to be there. We will be speaking at, we have the young adult, which is 19 to 29 is what they tell me. But, we probably will fudge that on both sides a little bit. We have 6 hours plus, because what are they going to do? Kick us out?
Yeah.
Right, guys? Yeah, we do whatever we want.
Yeah.
So I have put a detailed list of things that we're going to be discussing. I have lined up the complete 6 hours of teaching, and I would like to go over that with you really quickly. In fact, I will just go ahead and give you a screenshot. There it is. Okay.
I wouldn't expect nothing less, Mike. I wouldn't expect nothing less. I love it.
Wait, that post-it note's too big. I don't know what you're talking about.
So that's that is what we have planned. But you never know who may show up, what may happen. Let's just say I've got a couple of stops to make before I get there. One at Lowe's, the other at Party City.
Oh.
Okay. All right then.
Okay.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people think that we are like in the know, like me, David, and Ryan. It's maybe half in the know half the time.
Yeah.
So at any given moment, we're only 25% aware of what's going on around us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
this one may be a little less.
The only thing I know is that I know that I don't know.
Yeah, well, there you go. And sometimes that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
So could that mean that you guys are having to go with anticipation?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think what's leading more the anticipation for me is that I know that for the past, 2 or 3 years, I think it's been 2, or has it been 3?
3.
It's been 3.
This will be 3. Yeah.
So
this will be
every time this has happened, it's always been unbelievable. Every single time, without fail. It has never failed. And we went in with absolutely nothing, and it was literally you just going, hey, come here. Hey, come here. And just, what? How did this happen? And that's why my anticipation is just through the roof, because it's never, ever been, it's never disappointed. It's always something, I think it's going to be here. It always goes here. Every time it just goes and goes and goes. So like my anticipation's just building. It's about, I can't handle it anymore. So, because I think we're going to be there. We're recording this on a Tuesday and we're officially starting on Friday. Am I right? So so you'll see it a day or two before Revive kicks off. So if you can't make it, join with many people that are praying for this event that won't be there, but join with them in praying for it, because I'm telling you, there's lives that change every single time. And it's young people's lives, it's not so young or been younger for longer. It's the whole spectrum gets hit. The whole spectrum gets hit. Yeah, I'm not getting personal.
Well, hey,
and if you are coming to Revive and you're trying to figure out where one of us are or where any of us are, just look for the one that's bouncing up and down, and you'll find Dave, which will lead to any of us. So there's your tip for the weekend.
There's your tip. There you go.
Tigger Dave. So anticipation, Daniel, Ryan, since we've already gotten to Mr. Tigger there.
Sorry.
When I say anticipation,
I think I'll jump.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I think I'll jump back into something that I'd come up with on the way to our Blue Ridge meeting a few months ago, whenever that was, maybe 7 months ago, I don't remember. But the kind of picture I got was, you're going to a movie, you have a movie you want to go see, you go to the movie theater if you still do that, because I know that's getting like pretty old school.
Yeah.
And so you go up to the counter and you pay however much it is to see a particular movie. And at that given point, it is a guarantee. You have paid money to see this particular movie. You're going to walk in, they're going to tell you which one it's in. You're going to go sit down and you're going to see that movie. It's a guarantee at that point, unless, something just really weird happens. And I was just thinking how, the scripture says, and we quote it all the time, where two or more are gathered, there he will be as well.
Yeah.
And that is it's one of those that blows my mind every time I think about it and every time I say it, because it's just so crazy. And it's even crazier when you realize how unconditional it is. It doesn't say where two or more are gathered, they're praying, where two or more are gathered and they're eating in my name, or any of these things, or where they're observing my feasts even. It's just where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am as well. And so just taking that, so if we can go to a movie theater and pay a price for a ticket to see this movie and be absolutely 100% sure that we are going to see that movie when we sit in that chair, why would we not apply the same expectation and the same confidence in the fact that God will show up? Because, and even more so, Yeshua paid that price.
Yeah.
Like we pay prices to go see other things or do other things. He paid the price for God to be with us as he. And so, just bouncing off what Dave was saying, that we've seen it over and over at this point. It's only been 2 revives, but there's been 5 to 6 meetings within that, and every single one of them was so special, so unique, just amazing. And so we just have the same confidence that there's going to be something just as amazing this time.
Absolutely. I know for me, like coming into it, my first year I didn't know what to expect, because like Dave said, I was walking in the hall and I just heard this deep voice behind me say, Mr. Cribbs, come in here. And
And you did.
Yeah, I did. And I didn't know what to expect. Keyword expect, right? And then what I experienced was so much greater than I could have expected. Keyword expected. So then the next year I came thinking like, okay, I know what went in there last year. So I am expecting, to go off of what Daniel was saying, I'm expecting God to show up. Right. And he did, of course, because why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Can you imagine him looking down and seeing a whole room full of people that are just excited, like they've been counting down the days so they can go because they expect him to show up, and they're excited to be there together because all of them together expect him to show up, not to do anything, or even expecting anything from him other than him just to be there, so that when we offer our praise to him, he's there to receive it. Yeah. I think that's huge. If you're coming with, well, I don't know what this weekend's going to hold, but we're just going to go and see. No, that's the wrong mindset. Come expecting him to be there, and he will. He will.
Yeah, that kind of goes along with something I've done. I've said, when you guys have been involved, when I've done the tabernacle experience, and I've said that I've probably taught that 75 times or so. And every time it's a little bit different, except for one thing, that every single time, no matter if it was in Anderson, South Carolina, Antwerp, Belgium, all over the place, every single time he showed up. And I said, but the thing is, people come and they don't expect anything. So what was the possibility that if someone comes this weekend and they leave with nothing, is it possibly because they came expecting nothing?
That's basically what I was saying.
Yeah. So if God meets us at our expectation, wow, I think we need to step up our expectation, right?
Yeah, I want to jump off of that though, and there's something that I want to not really a caveat, but there's something that there's a point to there with going out and as a band, going out and playing. We've been doing stuff with you, Mike, going on stuff with Daniel. We've done stuff before. And very early on, I realized my perception of what I was expecting or anticipating had to be massaged a little bit.
Okay.
Because I would be like, oh, it has to be, it's going to be like this. It's going to be like this. That's how I was approaching it. It's going to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was basically putting God in this box of this is how you're going to work in this environment. And every time that would blow out of that, it would just like destroy it almost to the point of a letdown and be like, what, God, what was up with that? It was the stage was set. Everything was there, but it was this and it was this and it was this. And it was like, where was your heart at and all that? And it was like, nope, don't worry about no one else. Where was your heart in that entire atmosphere? And then I came to realize the more and more those things happen, it was to kind of visualize it. It's like a cup being full of that water.
Mm-hmm.
And you come to this thing, but you're totally full. You can't carry a single thing more because you haven't been pouring out. You haven't been dumping. So in my analogy, that's how I see it in my mind is I need to be pouring out into this upcoming thing with everything, whether it be prayer, whether it be helping whoever needs to be there, like whatever I need to do, just pouring out so that I am just totally empty, just going, God, what can you do? Or what do you need me to do next, sir? What's next? And just being ready. I realized then if I just open the stage up and say, I don't know what you're going to do, but you just do it. Whatever it is, just do it. Then I've been a part of one of many people that had to do their job to be at that place to do that. And nothing against anything that's been said. It was just something I realized I had to just pour out so that,
absolutely.
or make my cup bigger so I could carry more. Like that's something you hope to have. It's like, I want more. I don't know, whatever you get, I always get this, but I want this. I want all as much as I can. Like, I think that's something to think about too, is to realize that you're actively participating in something. And that's what everyone is saying. I'm talking to those who are out there, is that you just praying for an event, you are added to the entire team that made something like that possible.
Yeah.
You have a huge part to play.
It's such a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because I think whether we want to or not, whether this is a conscious decision or not, we do kind of develop these preconceived notions or these I guess you could say expectations of that it's going to be a specific way. And then it's easy to come into something like that, come into a meeting or an event and essentially have this mindset that says, I'm not going to enter in until I see that it's actually happening. I'm not going to open myself up until I see the things that I've seen in the past. And so it almost becomes a conditional worship on our part. Right. And what you're saying is like, that's not the part of it at all. We go to these things because he's worthy and to be with the body. Because there's something so powerful about us coming together and worshiping and obeying and just dwelling together in unity. There's something super powerful about that. And to do that and to come acknowledging his goodness, here's the thing, if he did nothing new, nothing again this year, we should still have the same fervency of worship for everything else he has already done.
Yes.
Yep. Amen.
And so in those ways, like it doesn't even matter. Like he's so good and he's already done so much that we could go and worship and him show up just as much, not having done anything new. And I use that as a lead in to say that because I feel a little differently about this revival, or I feel like it's going to look different.
Yeah.
Like when I'm kind of thinking about it, praying about it, picturing it in my head, like what are these rooms going to look like? What's gonna be the flow of these things? It just feels different. And the best example I can give is like, as you go through life, you have those big impactful moments. The ones where you're in a big setting, maybe it's a music worship thing, and all of a sudden everybody gets hit, and then that's your refreshing there. Or maybe there's a really, really passionate teacher who has an amazing testimony and they share it, and then it just impacts everybody. And there's those big moments. But then there's like also these really small moments that this is where I've kind of found myself in the past months, year, is that there's been a lot of little tiny moments that have absolutely just shattered my entire world. And maybe I'll get into sharing some of those at Revive. But it's been just me in those moments, or just me and one of my kids, or just me and my wife, or just me and God. And I just feel like somebody's like that might be more of a focus this time, is those little moments from those intimate moments from one person to one person. I don't know, it feels different for me.
Okay.
That one person to one person. I was thinking in my head, there's a scene from a TV show where it's this guy, his name is Ron Swanson, and he goes, I wrote the manual for our local Boy Scouts club. I wrote the entire thing, and he opens the book and it's just 2 words. Or 3 words. It says, be a man. If I could write a handbook for Revive, it would be build relationships. 2 words, build relationships. If you're going just to be fed by a teacher or to be fed by a worship leader, maybe you're coming with the wrong concept. Because to me, Revive has always been about finding those relationships, even if it's just you meet a new person, and just be open to that, to whoever God's going to bring into your life. You might receive your answer that you've been praying about for years, or even prayers you forgot about, by the people you'll meet at this event. So if you come just wanting to be fed, be prepared to feed others. Well.
That's great counsel. Great counsel there, Ryan. That losing yourself. Forget about me. Okay, I'm not really concerned about me in this thing. And what you guys are saying is along some of the things that I've been awake at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning, going over in my head. I can tell you that I will give people that have been there for a while. There is a box. Yes, there is a box, and that's all I can say about the box. But there's also been 2 personal, I believe, prophetic words spoken over the last 2 weeks regarding the youth, the young adults that are going to be there, and what I believe that the Father is desiring to do in their lives. And so if those 2 prophetic words come to pass, this is not going to be life-changing. You guys have heard me talk about this many times. I've been around long enough to know that you go to conference after conference after conference, your life's going to be changed, your life's going to be changed, your life's going to be changed. And it's not. It's kind of like, changing your socks. Okay, whatever. What I desire is this to be life-defining. A life-defining moment will stay with you for the rest of your life. A life-changing moment will only stay with you until the next life-changing moment.
That's true. That's very good.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's just so amazing that the more you lose yourself, the more that He desires to pour out on you. I think that's the thing that shocked me the biggest, that had me crying like a little baby in the middle of, everybody is there watching. Like, I'm in the middle of the room, the great room, and I think it was before the teacher started, and there's this little old lady that, just to have the story of how she got sitting next to me was God. And then she starts prophesying over me, and I am literally just crying there, because it wasn't just what she was saying, which was true, but it was the fact that I had come to Revive to pour out, and then God spoke to her to come find me, and then so that He could pour into me as well. And that's just what He wants to do for everyone. Like, the more that you remove yourself from it, the more that you will get. It's the backwards logic we've talked about of the kingdom, how everything that we have currently is backwards to the kingdom, which is where everything is actually in its appropriate place.
Yeah.
I think I want to jump off what you're saying there, Daniel. We're kind of all talking about this idea that the anticipation is great, it's exciting, it's wonderful. There's this selflessness that does come a part of it, especially when you understand that you are part of something much bigger. It's not just because of your action. Your action was because there was so many other people there that were praying for something, that were praying and prophesying and going through it. That selflessness is that, okay, God, I'm all ears. I am waiting for direction. I am listening for guidance. I'm wanting to react to whatever someone says to me. I'm wanting to react through. I want you to just be a conduit flowing through me. And that's that pouring out. That's that idea. I think that you put it much better than I did. That idea of, if you're pouring out, when all of it's out, then it's just can be filled up again. It's just a big pitcher, just it'll just get filled up again. And if you just keep on pouring out, guess what? You just keep getting filled back up, and it just keeps going and going. And it's happened every time we've been there. It's been that just same thing. And it was also, which I absolutely love. I cannot tell you how much I love how these people that were there were also so ready. They were also so vulnerable. Actually, I think the right word is they were so ready to be raw in that moment. They were so ready not to just be caring about what other people thought. It was that raw faith of going, I'm here to meet you, so that's why I'm here. And it's truly amazing to realize that you're a part of something that's such a big group of people led to this moment, and you're part of that team. I don't know if we wanted to, I can maybe just go into a little bit, hopefully it won't be too long. Camp Mashiach, where Mike was teaching there as well. We were there doing stuff. It was fun. And while the program had to be held down by Alex, but she did a wonderful, amazing job, just amazing testimony. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it, please go back and listen to it, because it was really awesome. What a testimony.
Yeah, it was.
There was a event to kind of correlate back with Revive. There was an event that happened 2 years ago when we went to Camp Mashiach, and it was just, the whole room was just filled with, it was just unbelievable, amazing. And what's always amazing is you hope for that to come again, right? You always like, oh, I hope that same thing happens. But every time that same thing comes back, it's never the same way. And you said that, Mikey, like, it's never the same way. It's always something that's beyond what you're thinking. And one of our last nights we were there, something broke out. And we're all just like, oh, here we go again. This is a little different. Okay, Spirit, we're and we've talked about this numerous times on the show about that. I think me and Ryan talk about it as being like a river, and it just shows up, and you're just there going, okay, I'm looking at your leads. I'm watching what's going on. Oh, now it's my turn. I need to now be involved. And it was just that dynamicness that happens. And it was always amazing is how much the people who we talk about as participants, right there, they're there out in the audience is not the audience anymore. They are the active participants of what's happening. And you're just along for the ride at that point. And that's what happened again. And it was like, wow. And then talking to people afterwards, and it was amazing talking to them, but some even had the idea that it was so-and-so or this or that. And it was like, no, you got to realize it was not just, we weren't just a small part of that. There were so many other people. It was the sound staff. It was the people praying every single time. And there was one that came just tears streaming down his face. I can't remember your name, sir, but if you're listening, it touched my heart tremendously. He just, with tears streaming down his face, talked about how much he was praying for something like this to happen. He was praying, he was begging God for this to happen. And it was really cool to see and realizing, oh, God's answering your prayers. We were just a part of something so big. And it's always amazing to talk to people after that, when the dust settles, if you will, when that happens, and they'll think they've got an idea of what it was. And it's like, we've been doing this enough to realize that it's beyond it's beyond the initial, oh, because of this, because of that. It's like, no, there was so much work that led up to this moment. And that's why it went. And it was enough people being willing to just lay everything down, like we've just been talking. They laid everything down, saying, God, just move through me, whatever you got to do. We changed songs. There's so many things that just happened. Just nope, change. Nope, let's do this. And we're not looking for our ego. We're there just to provide worship as trying to get people to join. And then it was effortless because they were already doing it. Now we're joining them because we're like, okay, we got to follow your lead now. We got to follow your lead. And that's truly amazing when we get to do that. So much fun.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that's so powerful about these moments you're talking about, the moments that we've seen at Revive, is this earth-shattering realization that you can watch in people where they realize God knows my name.
Yeah.
And I feel like what God is doing right now, I feel like what he wants to do, what he's saying is, okay, you know that I know your name. Now I want you to know my name. And we've talked before, I don't know if we've talked about it on this program, how name in Hebrew, the word name also carries with it authority, the name and authority. And so I feel like what God is wanting to do is help make sure that people know his name and his authority, that they may walk in it further to impact others. Because, these moments should be evolving. Like, the camp is a little different because you got different a different group every year, and they're typically younger people, and they need that moment. Like, young people in that specific age group really, really need to know that God knows their name. When you get to a different age group, there's going to be those people still that it is when they haven't realized yet that God knows their name. But once you know that, it's time to mature. It's time to mature past the knowledge that God knows your name. It's time to know his name, and it's time to walk in his name. And I just feel like that might be what he's trying to do, or trying to say to people.
Stepping into identity,
Mm-hmm.
you might say.
Circling back.
Walking in
Circling
purpose.
back all the way around.
Welcome back to episode 1 of Life on Purpose. No.
It's going to be that weight of the sorts, right? Because we're kind of returning back to the start. It's kind of cool.
Took us all the way to get back to
That's
there,
appropriate,
right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because this is a different age group than is normally, you guys have seen this, and this actually started with me back in Dallas a number of years ago when one of the people that was in charge of the youth asked me to come in and speak for a few minutes. And so that is how me getting involved with the youth turned into getting involved with the youth and the young adults. And now we're just doing the young adults. And this is, as Daniel coined it last year, kind of a forgotten generation. So these are not children. These are young adults your age that we will be in the room with, ministering with the whole time. And so it's a very different age group. Daniel, you brought up something, and Ryan, I think all of you did actually, about it's been coming out from everybody about those who said, well, we prayed. So let's talk to the people that are listening, not just about what we're anticipating at Revive, but maybe why is it you're listening to this program? Okay, you're not going to Revive. You can't go for whatever reason. Okay, and you can't go to the young adult because you're not one. Because I'm the one that gets to break the rules there, but you can't go. So what about, is there a job for you? I would say absolutely. I put it out on my program this morning that I recorded. I want to say it on this one. We already have people that have committed to that time period from 3:30 to 5:30 Central Time on Friday, Shabbat, and Sunday to stop and pray. Pray for this time, because we need that covering. We need people praying about it. And it's not that God's just sitting up there going, okay, well, if we can have 123 people praying, then I'm going to show up. No, as Daniel said, he says, where there are 2 or more are gathered. But see, this is a way for you to be involved in what's going on. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
Maybe one of you
that's right.
guys smarter than me can help me to understand why that is. But it's like he desires to have those who can't be there to be a part of what's going on, but you will probably not see the results until the kingdom.
Mhm.
Mm.
You better go,
Help me.
Daniel, or I'm going to jump all over this.
Yeah, I got a picture for this.
Mhm.
So you're standing over a table and it's dark, like pitch black, and there's something on the table, and the thing that is on the table is what God is doing. And so you, as one person, are shining a flashlight on it, and then each person present is shining a flashlight on it, and all of a sudden you can really, really see what God is doing. But then you have all the people who are contributing their prayers to it, and all of them are shining their flashlights on this. And now all of a sudden, the thing that God is doing is so illuminated with the brilliance of everyone contributing that it's just blinding.
I like it.
Mm.
And I feel like that's just the best thing
Mm-hmm.
that is a picture of the power of people coming together in person and in prayer. It does add something. That thing was always there. God was always doing the thing. The thing was on the table. Even if the first person never turned their flashlight on, it was still there. But the more that we come together and acknowledge it and contribute toward it, the more that it will become a force to be reckoned with in the world.
Mm. Mm.
And that would be my prayer for those that are not able to make it and are praying, is that they would be able to tap into the same things that are happening in that room would begin to be evident in their life, even though they're not present. They're present spiritually by their sacrifice of prayer, and therefore warrant the same results, the same experience that those that are in the room would have, whether you are on the other side of the world or live next door and just aren't able to make it for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know one.
Because once all those flashlights get shining and the light intermingles, you can't tell which light is whose. It's all intermingling, and it's all one light.
Yeah, I know one very, very special person that was wanting to come this year, but just can't because of some issues. And I would pray that with you, Ryan, that the people that are stopping to pray, that the same thing that we're experiencing in that room, they would experience in their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I've seen it as a pattern every time something like this has happened. It's always been that way. Whenever you're pouring out into someone, there's something God's giving you back. There's always something. And it's not that you do it for those reasons. It just happens no matter what. We've talked so many times about the testimonies of, oh, when you gave something, when you did this, and you didn't realize as you gave, something was also coming back to you. It's not the same thing, but it's exactly what you needed. And I believe that with all my heart, that you're absolutely right. That absolutely happens. And I'm joining in with that too. That whoever's praying, that they're joining in with that, and they'll start seeing the same restoration that's happening in that room, happening in their lives with whoever it needs to be restored. Oh man, that's gonna be cool. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to write to us if that happens to you. Please don't forget. Please,
Yes, please
let us know.
I will get on my knees and beg for that one.
Yes, please, because those are the kind of things that just, those little things can just, you don't know how far the willingness to write out something like that and send us that, which so many people have already done, which thank you guys for doing that. But if you do that, like it just makes our faith even more ratified, even more. I mean, it already is. It just makes it that much better, and it just brings so much joy to know what you're going through, and that's what we want to share in your joy. When you're going through that, please let us know. Like that's gonna be so cool. I'm excited for those people listening right now who are going to be getting that. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, let's practice for revive then. Okay. You guys, when I say something like that, you're like, uh-oh.
Go.
Yeah. So let's
put my
practice for
seatbelt on.
revive, which a lot of revive is me just kind of pointing at one of you and saying, hey, come here and start talking. So we're going to do that in a moment, but I'm going to give you a little break since you're coming in here cold. You know, I'm going to give you a little time to think here regarding this. So I want you to look at the screen, the camera, whatever. I know there's people on podcasts that just listen. but I want you to speak directly to people and give them your number one prayer request for Revive. Now, I'm going to let you guys off the hook. I'm going to start.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Normally don't do that. Here's my prayer request for Revive. That I've seen people come to meeting after meeting, revival meeting, special meeting, whatever it is. They come with anticipation. They're met. They have a great experience. And then a week, 2 weeks, or a month afterwards, well, it's just something of a historical event in their life. What I am praying for and ask others to pray with me is something that, as I said earlier, would define a person's life so that no matter how much time goes by afterwards, that which happened would always be a part of them and would define their life forever and eternity. Who wants to go first? Or I guess that'd be second.
I'm about to say I can jump.
Go, Dave,
jump.
go.
All right, I'll jump. My prayer request. I want to echo what Mike said. I think it was in the very beginning, that those in the room will know. Echo to a point. I want to add something else that I've been experienced, but echoing the point that those in that room and those praying for them as well will also know that God knows their name with wherever they're at. To echo last episode, that even if they're not perfect, it does not matter. God knows your name, and He's got the plans and things that He has in store for you. All those things that they get to realize the magnitude of the love of God in a huge way. That their lives matter, your lives matter. Those who are praying, your lives matter. And that those desires, those innate desires that I know we'll be talking about, those innate desires you have for your future, for what God's doing for you, what you want your relationship with God to be like, is really not that far away. And that He's asking, receive that, to know that even those, to be honest with the Father is another one I want to look at. That those kids in that room, sorry, not kids, but those young adults, that they do not have to come at God with a face of who they think they need to be before God, but they come to Him with total themselves, not pushing anything in front of them. It is them and God, and actually knowing that relationship, and they know they can actually lean on that relationship.
So my prayer request for Revive, I would like to start by saying that we read in Scripture of when Moses goes up on the mountain and he spends time with the Father. And he comes down and his face is transformed in such a fashion that all those viewing him knew that he had spent time with the Father. Now, my earthly father has a kind of a humorous saying, and it goes, you can build a man a fire and he'll be warm for the night. Or you can set a man on fire and he'll be warm for the rest of his life. That has some spiritual connotations.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to just come to Revive.
That's awesome.
And
I love that.
leave and say, like Mike said, I had a wonderful experience. Nor do I want you to leave and say, I had a wonderful experience and it impacted me. I want you to leave and say, I had a wonderful experience, it impacted me, and because it impacted me, now I want to impact others. And so they will see that you went and the Father showed up and you experienced that. And that becomes real in your life and in the lives of those around you.
Amen.
Stealing that, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, that is so good. Okay, mine. I'm gonna make it 2 parts. So as of this recording, I am 28 years old. So last year, as you can probably do the math, I was 27 years old. 27
Raised
was
a
a number that I
genius.
saw. Yeah, I know. It's just unparalleled mathing going on here.
Homeschool.
Yeah. So 27 was the number that I saw a lot growing up. And it wasn't until a lot of the way through that year that I remembered that. And last a good, very good year and a very big year. Left my job to start a business. Moved into a new house that was much bigger than my old one for my growing family, and just a lot of great things with my family and in our home life. And then I hit 28, and my birthday is November 28th, and so there's the whole thing of the golden year. And so I was like, aha, moving from one of the best years of my life to the golden year. How much better can it get, right? And this has been one of the hardest years so far that I've ever experienced, emotionally and just stuff. And the other day, I was just in the kitchen at night, turning off the lights before I go to bed, and I just started thinking about that. It just came to me randomly, and I was like, wasn't this supposed to be like my golden year or whatever? It's kind of silly stuff. And I heard the Father say, just so quietly and gently, and he's like, you know how gold is made, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
And so part one of the prayer request would be that the slag would come to the surface and be wiped the heck away for us, for everyone in the room, and for everyone praying for that. Every one of those impurities would be purged by fire and would be thrown away, and that the gold would emerge in a brilliant way. Because yeah, we need it as the body of Messiah. We need to have those impurities and those things holding us back from shining brighter be taken away. And then the other part of the prayer request would be very simply that each and every person in there could say 100% without a doubt that they have been filled with the Holy Spirit. And not just in a verbal way, but in a way that they can show.
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me throw a personal wrench in the toolbox of Daniel here. The year was 1986. I was 28 years old, and that's the year that me and your mom came to Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Take it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My life began at 28.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, well, that's just a personal thing. So, well,
Yeah,
guys,
that's good.
wow, closing thought. Go ahead.
Ooh.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, this whole time we've been talking, I've just been thinking about the disciples and how Yeshua told them to go to Jerusalem and wait.
Yeah.
And I've just been thinking as we've been going through the program, kind of based on what I said, if they hadn't been there, would the tongues of fire still come? Would the tongues of fire still come? Would that still have happened?
Mm.
And it maybe, maybe not. Probably. I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But regardless, Yeshua told them to go and wait. And so he was telling them something's going to happen, basically. And that gave them a front row seat. Everyone still experienced it to some degree, but because they knew to expect, it gave them a front row seat and they got the lead on everyone, essentially. And so knowing that something is going to happen, your eyes are open and you're ready for it, and you can participate sooner to then take it to the nations.
Good. It's good.
Yeah. funny you say that. There's a lyric to a song I've been listening to lately. It goes, pay attention to the open sky. Keep that fire burning in your eye, for you never know what will be coming down. That I think that kind of sums up our expectations for this event. I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens, and more than Revive, I'm looking forward to hearing the stories afterwards, the culmination afterwards of things that we may not have even known that took place.
That I think I didn't think I was. I knew last week I was like, oh man, camp's going like this. I can't even wait more for next week with Revive. And now that I'm here with you guys again, I'm just about to come out of my skin. I just can't even wait at this point. It's like, okay, Friday can't come any faster. Let's go. Let's chop, chop, chop. Let's go. So that's where I think a closing thought is anticipation is super high. We are all just super excited about what's about to happen. We hope that if you can make it, online registration is closed now, but if you decide you can make it out of nowhere, you can, guess what? They'll let you in. So you can go up there, take care of it all. They will be able to make that happen. And it's in a place where there's plenty of places to stay. So if you feel like God's calling you to go and he wants you to be in a place around other people, or you want your sons and daughters to be around a place where they are going to have a relationship with others, they will find new friends. They will find people that they'll be able to be friends with. I would say it's not just that's probable, it's almost guaranteed. Every time I've gone there, it's always been the same. It has never failed. And so we're super excited for this event. But I'm gonna echo what everyone else has already said. It's that afterwards. That's what I'm super excited about. Is what it means from this point carrying forward. What that means is what is super exciting.
Yeah. If you show up at the door and you have any issues with anybody, just tell them I know David Covert.
Here we go.
I'm sure that'll take care of it. And they say, David, who? You just say the Energizer Bunny of Life on Purpose, and everybody will know that.
Yes.
It's gonna be a great time. We've got some wonderful people coming in, and some new friends for some of you guys that you haven't met before are coming. So we're looking forward to it, of course, because it may just be that in the midst of Revive that some people find out that the Creator has plans for them to give them a future and a hope that would be for good and not for evil. So as you live your life on purpose, maybe they'll figure out that they need to live their life on purpose. See you guys Friday.
See you
Looking
then.
forward to it.
You alone hear my every prayer. You're the God who's always there.